Let's now catch up with the Liberal Senator for Victoria, Sarah Henderson, who joins us from that great state, from Melbourne indeed. Good to talk to you again, Sarah. This new target for 2035, what will it cost the country to get to 62 to 70% emissions reductions by 2035?
Well, Chris, good evening. And as you have so clearly articulated in your editorial, the cost is unknown, but also, frankly, the cost of this whole scheme, Labor's renewables recklessness, is frankly driving our nation off a cliff. We have seen in the last 3 years, emissions have flatlined and yet power prices have gone through the roof. Labor will not accept that its entire approach to energy policy is failing our country, is failing householders, is failing industry, is failing manufacturers, and we've got to get off this ship, which is sinking very, very fast.
Well, the government handed out another $8 billion today, and combine that with totals that I've had the assistance of artificial intelligence to generate. That takes the total spend in Australia to reduce emissions to at least $150 billion so far, with hundreds of billions more to come. Yet in all the documents and detail they put out today behind their announcement, Labor hasn't actually given us a cost. They tell us the cost of inaction is always going to be more than the cost of their action, but they won't tell us what the cost of their action is.
Well, Chris, that is because they're embedding a number of separate secret carbon taxes into the economy. A tax on industry, a tax on electricity, a tax on farmers. And frankly, it is, as you say, involving billions and billions of dollars. We have got a 28% reduction in emissions right now. That was achieved under the coalition. Nothing has happened in the last 3 years. It's nonsensical that we could get to 43% by 2030, and it's just la-la land stuff that we could pretend to get to 62 to 70%. The cost to our nation is far too high. This is an utter embarrassment, and that's why we've got to turn our back on these ridiculous policies.
Yet in the detail, buried away in the detail of these reports, is a claim that our electricity prices over the decade could come down by 13%, that household electricity bills might go down by $1,000. They've gone up by about $1,000 over the past year or so, the past 3 years, sorry, but they reckon they might come down $1,000. Is there anything in these policies that suggests this could be true?
Chris, no, there's not, and we can only see from the last 3 years that Labor went to the election up to 2022 promising a $275 reduction in every person's electricity bill by 2025. Now, of course, we've seen this massive increase in power. They are lying to Australians. These are lies, Chris, pure and simple. This is costing us billions and billions of dollars. It's a complete fraud what the Labor Party is telling the Australian people, and that's why I'm so pleased that, of course, Susan Lee has made it very clear we reject this horrendous target, which impacts every single Australian, from farmers to manufacturers to householders, and frankly, the whole thing has become an utter joke. Of course, we want to see emissions come down. We want to encourage investment in clean energy technologies, but the cost of these targets is way too high. We must reject them, along, of course, with the rejection of net zero as a mandated target. Sure, let's have the aspiration if those who want to go down that road, but to mandate this under law and impose these massive hidden carbon taxes on our country is just completely untenable.
It's so foolish to be in a hurry, given we're 1% or less of global emissions. Global emissions are still rising, so whatever we're doing is having no impact on the climate. So why would we inflict economic harm on ourselves for nothing but a vanity project, for nothing but an electoral slogan? It does my head in. I want to show you something that was said today by the government's new climate guru, the former Liberal Treasurer of New South Wales, Matt Keane. Here's one of his comments at the announcement today.
We have recommended a target of 62 to 70%. Not only will that hand our planet to our kids better than we found it, but it will do so in a way that grows our economic prosperity.
There's the twin lies there, Sarah Henderson. One, he says this will improve the planet. Now, we know that whatever cuts happen in Australia will not change the climate. And secondly, he says it's going to be great for the economy. They've been telling us this for 2 decades and all we've seen is economic pain. But isn't it time for the coalition to address the reality? Sure, we all want the planet to be healthy. We all want to eventually minimise emissions. But to pretend that what we're doing now has any impact on the climate is an absolute fallacy.
Chris, this is an act of extraordinary economic harm on every single Australian, underpinned by just lie after lie after lie from Labor. We know this is not working. This is a disaster for our country. And as we know, there are particular sectors which are really paying the price: farmers, manufacturers, regional communities. It's just a load of rubbish what is happening. Sure, we all want to play our part. We want to give companies the opportunity to invest in clean technologies if that's their wish, but we are not going to send our country off an economic cliff. We are playing a very responsible part in lowering emissions. We're responsible, frankly, for only 1.1% of global emissions. When you consider China, India and the United States, they are responsible for more than 50% of the world's emissions. So anything we do makes no impact anywhere else. The whole thing is an utter joke. And that's why I really do think that we have got to reject these targets and a mandated net zero by 2050, and we've got to do that very, very quickly. Yeah, get rid of that mandated target. I agree with you. Let's see where the Liberals land on that in the end. Thanks for joining us, Sarah. I appreciate it. Sarah Henderson there, Liberal Senator for Victoria.